So how did one magazine article from 2005 alter the trajectory of my entire life and lead to my career as a voiceover artist? Check this out.
From the mind of Mark Yoshimoto Nemkov.
Podcasting changed my entire life. I wouldn't be doing voiceover for a living if it weren't for starting a podcast exactly 20 years ago this weekend. Yeah, I recorded my very first podcast on May 25th, 2005. The June 2005 issue of Macworld Magazine had just arrived, and I saw this article, Start Your Own Podcast by Cyrus Farivar. And my first indie book was out, and I was looking for any way to promote it. And I thought, hey, why not? Starting a podcast is apparently free, according to this article. And I worked in audio production, knew it well, recorded something, and I did exactly like the article said, and I posted it to a free page on Blogspot, which became Blogger eventually. And I remember having so much fun doing it. No restrictions on what I could say or jokes I could make or anything. It was very cathartic. And I hadn't even given any thought to doing another episode. And then less than 24 hours later, I wake up and I find an email from someone who lives on Waiheke Island off of New Zealand saying, wow, I loved your show. When's the next one? This is someone on the other side of the planet living on an island off of an island, and it showed me instantly the reach of podcasting, so I dove in headfirst. And by that fall, I signed a deal with the first podcasting network, Pod Show, co-founded by ex-MTV VJ Adam Curry, and that happened after I brutally made fun of his 80s hair for so long, but that was the kind of show Pacific Coast Hellway was, or PCH as it came to be called. It kicked open doors, created a ton of opportunities, and from being featured in Playboy Magazine, getting syndicated on Sirius Satellite Radio on their premier talk channel, an evening drive 5 nights a week, and replays on the weekends. And most importantly of it all, it led to me working with Don LaFontaine as a producer, which then led to that conversation that changed my life and opened my mind to one day doing voiceover. So, in the process of writing my new book, The Modern Voiceover Career Owner's Manual, maybe you heard of it by now, and reflecting upon the lessons the universe taught me, I started to make a list of the things I learned doing podcasting and content. So, to commemorate 20 years since recording that first episode, 20 years, I want to give you my 20 things I learned about creating content. Number 1, content empires are built on shifting sand. You know, what works today may be irrelevant tomorrow. Adaptability is survival. You know, the moment you take your foot off the gas, you may lose whatever momentum you have and may not be able to get it back. Or you can make a tactical error and lose everything, or an algorithm may change and you lose your ranking. You know, what you did yesterday matters less and less every day. It's about what you do today. Number 2, ABC, always be creating. Consistency beats virality. Showing up week after week builds trust, loyalty, and long-term growth. Number 3, don't underestimate the power of a single listener. One listener can be the gatekeeper to your next opportunity, or like for me, that guy in New Zealand who showed me what podcasting could do. Number 4, my first 125 episodes were practice. Don't wait for perfection. Publish, learn, improve. It took me 125 episodes of PCH to really get comfortable on the mic and really hit my stride. Really. Number 5, don't chase the algorithm. Chase your voice. Audiences follow authenticity, not trends. Number 6, the audience is smarter than you think. Talk to them, not down to them. They know when you're faking it, and truthfully, the ones who aren't really well savvy will make it very clear very quickly. So, number 7, monetization is a side effect of value. All right, serve your audience first. Money follows meaning. All right, number 8, creativity is a blue-collar job. Inspiration is rare. Discipline is what gets things done. All right, number 9, if you're doing it the way everybody else is, you're kind of doing it wrong. Right? A copy of a good show is most likely going to be a bad copy. Don't jam yourself into a bottleneck. Be your own thing. Be unmistakable. Number 10, tech doesn't matter until it does. Start with what you have, which is what I did. Upgrade when it helps you tell the story better. All right. Number 11, nostalgia is earned. You can't manufacture legacy. It's built one post, one episode, one person at a time. Number 12, some of your best work will be ignored. And some throwaway piece will go viral. Don't take it personally, either way. Number 13, the microphone gives you access, not entitlement. Use your platform to elevate, not dominate, all right? That's all I have to say. Number 14, every episode is someone's first. Don't lose them by assuming they already know the backstory, okay? Number 15, your haters are usually spectators. That's always true. And creators who criticize other creators, aren't the ones that really show up. So, you know how it goes. 16, no one owes you an audience. You earn it every time you hit record. All right? Number 17, audio. Audio is intimacy because you're not in their feed, you're in their ears. And often in their most private moments, too. So respect that. Number 18, evergreen beats trendy every time. Topical content is great, but it has a short shelf life. One piece of evergreen searchable content can outperform 50 forgettable ones. 19, pivoting isn't failure, it's evolution. So you know what? If my voiceover career came from the ashes of my podcasting run, and that's not failure, that's momentum, because it inspired it. 20, your work may be temporary, but your impact isn't. Someone out there is still shaped by something you made 10 years ago. And I got an email from someone who was a listener, a PCH listener, back in the day, and they're like, I heard your voice on an ad and it reminded me immediately of this or that or the other thing in some joke. They remembered a joke I made. And I got an email a couple of days later from someone else who heard my voice on a bunch of ads. And they were like, yeah, and so that's the thing. It's like, what you do, what you create has the ability to really not just, I don't want to say inspire, but entertain. And it really could help someone, it could really help someone connect with what it is that you're doing now by what you did back then. So it's really cool. We broke a lot of rules on PCH. And we did some crazy stuff. And, Playboy Magazine dubbed me. This was great because this gave me a license to do anything. When Playboy Magazine compared me to Howard Stern meets Trey Parker, then, it allowed me publicly to do almost anything on the show. And one of the things that we did that was great was that we were part back then. Now, again, this is quite a while ago, but right around the era of 2010 or so, when things were really, really happening, at that point for podcasting, before it kind of crumbled a little bit, before all the money kind of fell out of it for a little bit. But there were a number of entities who were getting, angel funding. Podshow had gotten a bunch of angel funding. And we were going to change advertising. And that's one of the things we did. And so there was a big, media blog, advertising blog that criticized me for using they criticized me for using something, a piece that, okay, let me explain this. So back in PCH days, right, we used to do all kinds of content, racy content, let's just say. And one of the fans, we had a 1-800 number line that you could call and leave a voicemail. And we started to get calls from this girl named Sarah. And Sarah was like, oh, I am so turned on by your voice and stuff. And so we were having these conversations, not directly with her, but we would reply to her. I'd say something, reply to her constant voicemails. When I say constant, I mean there was a run of a bunch of them. So we were, and one of the things she wanted to do, and if you have kids in the room, cover their ears, but she had always wanted to, but was afraid to. She was afraid to because she lived in an ultra-religious household. Her parents were super, super religious, and it was a small house with thin walls, and she was never alone. Because she had a big family. and she recorded it. She did it while she was on the voicemail line. And so this became the Sarah tape became an infamous thing at the time when our little circle of our little circle of idiots. And it was amazing. And so what happened was I turned it into a GoDaddy ad. Compared to how orgasmic the deals were, because GoDaddy was one of our sponsors back then. And so the blog was like, they were asking GoDaddy, like, hey, do you think this is all right? Do you condone this type of advertising? And Bob Parsons, bless his heart, the CEO of GoDaddy, was like, oh yeah, it's getting attention. You're talking about it. It's getting attention. It's working. So, we charted new territory because, we didn't want to play by the rules. So don't play by the rules. Make your own rules. And, something amazing may happen. But those are the 20 things I learned doing content over the last 20 years. And even though, like, for a bunch of those years, I didn't do content, I was just writing books and stuff, which I guess is content, but not like podcasting. I really feel like there's so much has changed, but the foundational philosophies behind it, like how to really motivate yourself, how to make great content, that hasn't changed. That will never change. So again, I just wanted to do this to commemorate 20 years. 20 years. I can't believe it. I remember it. I remember it so clearly. I remember sitting there in the other house, because we were in the previous house. I remember sitting there in my hot, stuffy home office with my old little crappy little desk. I remember it so vividly, doing this thing and posting it to Blogger, doing exactly like the article. And it changed everything. So yeah. So what is your content creation story? Let me know, all right? Leave a comment. Until next time, this is Mark Yoshimoto Nemkov. Still doing it in one take. Fading to black.